computer. Hello and welcome to another episode of Guest Talks, a space where we talk about healing, awakening, journeys, and anything related to personal development, overcoming challenges, and becoming the best versions that we can be. My guest today is Paulina Podbiello, my dear friend, back from uni days, international facilitator, yoga teacher, breathwork facilitator, spiritual badass, and a multi-passionate being. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you, Maggie. This is wonderful. Whenever I'm thinking what I'm gonna say and how people will introduce me, I always feel like this is so exciting. I don't know who am I. I wonder how she sees me. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. So let's start. I like to start with a pivotal moment in someone's life, but I actually want to start somewhere else today because we were just chatting how you and I know each other back from university in Poland. So we're talking 20 years ago, we've met, and then we've been friends on Facebook, and then you just miraculously came back to me into my field when I actually probably needed you. We don't need to go into that story. But what we did, we were both in a beautiful place of growing our businesses. I think, just starting. I just created Thrive with Mags. And remember, we did this meditation series, live calls on my thing. Um, why don't you? I want to just talk about it. How were you 3 years ago when we were doing this, and how are you now, and how do you see the evolution just based on those 3 years before we go
Mhm.
into even further earlier in your life?
So I really feel like we both grew so much because when I was recording that 3 years ago, I was not in a good space mentally because I was back from New York City and I had terrible trauma there and I was not myself. I was in Poland healing myself from that traumatic
I
event
think
and
we're
experience.
both very, very in our survival mode, but powering
Yeah.
through. We're gonna help the world. We're barely holding it together, but we've got something to say.
That is so true. But I felt that
It's
we
so
had so
good.
much
Yeah.
courage to actually share our gifts. Nevertheless, we were on a survival mode and we were trying to glue or, stitch like a patchwork, right? We were trying to hold ourselves together, but then were on also on, online on Instagram sharing our gifts, which
Yeah.
was very interesting because that was actually the highlight for me. Being with you on that call or doing that challenge was challenging me in a good way. It was giving
Yes.
me a purpose. It was giving me some kind of an outlet from my misery and my self-pity party that I
I
had in my
remember
head.
the misery then, and you were driving me on our other calls for like a year. Oh, it was fun times, fun times. But I think that speaks very, very well to the idea of having somewhere to go. Like, I call it vision, but it's anything that is greater than you, right? So you had the
Mm.
same calling of sharing what you're learning or whatever wisdom you were gathering from the shitty things that were happening in your life. You knew at the same time that even though you're still struggling or even though it seems overwhelming, there's something that you can share already. There's something that other people will benefit from. And I received great feedback for those meditation. People were messaging me. I just started, so I
Yes.
didn't even know how to be on the camera. But a few people were like, oh, I was learning as well because I wasn't really meditating. So yeah, even for me, it's like, wow, we did this. I probably not even do it now or be like, oh, do I really want to do a live? And we just jumped at it and did it for 6 weeks in a row,
Yeah.
whether people were watching or not. Um, so yeah, maybe let's speak to this journey of simultaneously
Hmm.
helping others while you're helping yourself, and
Hmm.
how I know for me it was a motivating thing because it helped me help myself a little bit
Mm.
more, because then obviously I knew I need to be more healed in order to serve others better. So that was kind of like a little external motivation out of myself. Of course, we should just be doing it for us. But I think a lot of us come through this stage that we don't really love ourselves unconditionally
Mm,
just yet. So it's good to have something externally that can push you to actually get better yourself. Was that an experience for
that's
you?
true. That is so true, and I want to say something about perfectionism, right?
Mm.
I've been on this journey for a long time, and especially recently, my coach is pushing me to do the challenge, right? And I have a challenge about doing the challenge, and he was saying to me, "You don't have to know everything. You all you need to do is to be two steps ahead of the
Yeah.
person you're helping." And that's what actually happened when I'm thinking about our challenge. I mean, our challenge, our 6 week journey that we were creating for ourselves, but also for others. We did have that external validation and external motivation, but at the end of the day, it was for us because for me it was healing. I was healing myself because during that time I was able to step into that role of being a teacher, being two steps ahead of someone who's watching me or participating. And then after that, I will go back into my misery and my self-pity party. Party for three, me, myself, and I.
Oh, what a journey. So let's talk about that misery, whatever you
Yeah.
want to share, because I mean it's tough, this journey is hard, and there's moments where you're like, I don't have a clue how I'm gonna get myself out of this hole that I keep fucking digging, or whatever. So how did you survive the chapter when it was the darkest?
It was terrible. And I'm not saying this to make people feel bad, but for me, it was a dark night of the soul. And I had many, but that time was the hardest one.
Mm.
And I was really appreciative of you because you were my light in that moment and you connected me with Marcus. And I want to say hello to Marcus, who's maybe, listening to that. And I started slowly, building myself. And interesting thing, I'll tell you this. I remember you told me about this rubber band
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
put
yeah.
it on my wrist, and whenever I have a shitty thought or I put myself down, I will just snap it, right? And I had it for a little bit, but then it hurt me. And I was like, why am I doing myself a physical pain? There's no need. Like I already in
Those negative
pain.
thoughts are exactly what they're doing. They're hurting you.
And I was like, this is bullshit.
Connection? No, no.
So basically, I wasn't really into that, but interesting enough, I had like 2 weeks ago, I had a coaching call, and the girl told me on the coaching call, like, "Hey, do you know this method with the rubber band?" And it's like, "Oh my gosh, Maggie!" And I like already had that vision of me giving myself pain and like training myself in that space. And it's like, "Oh my God, I don't want to do this." And she said, "This is a very good, it's a science." It's proven by the science. It's a really good method to get out of your head. And I was thinking, wow, 3 years ago, I got that and I wasn't able to make use of it.
Yeah.
And now I feel this was a very valuable advice
Well,
that I wasn't really prepared to receive.
3 years later, appreciative of my advice. Thank you. It's better late than never. No, but that's so true. That's so true. We often, well, that's what it is. Like you can receive an advice, but if you're not ready to hear it, if you're not ready to, and that's what embodiment is. You are an embodiment coach. I work with embodiment as well because that was a big part of my journey. I have been gathering so much knowledge, and it wasn't sticking, or like my patterns were coming back or whatnot, and then no one at the time was really elaborating on what embodiment is. Everyone was throwing that word around, but no one was really, in the free content at least, or I didn't come across that. So it may have been because I needed to and start embodying myself, so I actually understand the difference between getting the knowledge and embodying. Then
Mhm.
it comes, the embodied knowledge is the wisdom, but wisdom is not knowledge until you embody it. You
Yes,
don't really know what
process.
you're talking about. You can throw the words, but you don't really know because it needs to land
Yes.
in your body. It needs to be fully experienced with every cell of you to actually know what it is, which also doesn't mean that then the challenge is never going to happen or you're always going to, it's still a journey, but it's with a different out. It's like a step, like a level up. You passed you pass this level. We can go a
Yes.
little deeper. Now you can go a little deeper and gather even more knowledge. So it's like it's constantly this spiral, right? But it's embodiment is super super important. And advice, if you're not ready or if there's too much resistance, I think at the time you were just too much in your head. You were too much in your, like the way I remember it, and I hope you don't mind me saying, because this is all for enlightening people, that we all go through the same things, what happened or how you were functioning. There's hundreds of peoples that are going through the same
Yes, yes,
thing
yes.
right now, that is just so loud in here that you're not gonna fucking accept that just a little band's gonna take you out of your thing, because this is so loud that you think you need to have some elaborate 2-year rehab or God knows what else to get you out of it, because we will not accept a small little like tweak, because
Yes.
you're like, no way such a small thing's gonna help me if this is so loud in here.
That's correct. And I think what I discovered is that I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually have done a lot of spiritual bypassing for many, many years.
Yeah.
So I'm a runner. Like I always run away.
I want to talk
I
about.
ran away from my home.
Yes, I didn't write this question, but like, I think we're gonna have to talk about this.
Yeah,
It's
and
running
and
away
first
because
of all,
I live in
fit.
Australia, so
First of all, like physically, I ran away when I was 18, 19, because I
yeah.
moved to Poznan where we met. Then I moved to England and New York, and I was always on the run, right? So when I came home after so many years of being abroad, I didn't know how to be
Mm. But
in
just to
one
be clear, you did not. Did you realize at the time that you were on a run, or did you just have this idea that you just like, I just want to live abroad and I want to have better opportunities, or did you actually feel at the time that you are escaping, that you are running away
No,
from problems? Because
no,
this
I
is
didn't.
this came in hindsight, right? This came.
It came after when I returned back home to Poland, and it was not really about me physically moving. It was the pattern that I was experiencing of running away from myself, and that was the physical location, then alcohol, cigarettes, and then spiritual, escape mechanism. So like session after session, workshop after workshop. So when I was with you 3 years ago, I realized like, fuck, I don't even know myself. Who am I? And I had to sit with myself. That's why I was so depressed, because I didn't like myself. I didn't want to be with myself all the time, because I lived in New York for 12 years. I was always going places, meeting people, doing stuff. Like I would never sit at home, because first of all, I couldn't. I had 16 meters. I was in a shoebox, fucking little, shoebox.
Yeah.
So, and I was always somewhere else. Like I never had a home when I was in Manhattan, when I was in New York. Like it was an apartment that was so tiny that I always felt much better outside. So when I
Mm.
returned and I had to stay at home, house with my parents, first of all, I had to spend time with my parents that I didn't really know because I was away for 18 years. Then I had to sit at home. Then I had to like face myself. I was like, what the hell? This is too much. So going
Mm.
back to the rubber band, I neglected myself to that extent that it escalated to such a amazing, amazing. It's such a big and overwhelming thing that the rubber was like a fart.
Mm. Which it wasn't, but to your mind it was.
I know.
It's gonna take everything. And it's I think whether you're in misery or whether you just even following your vision, it's the same voice. It's the same voice that will just be telling you that I like the way Marissa Peer talks about it when she talks about familiar and unfamiliar. So anything, for you, for us, for anyone that hasn't yet fully started healing and unpacking and understanding and, breaking the cycles, breaking the patterns, we will have a story. We will have a story why this needs to be that way, because that is the story that we've been telling ourselves our whole lives. It has to be shit. It has to be difficult. It has to be this way. And we obviously not saying, I would like to say that it's not always the words that we say. It's not like I don't remember ever telling myself in my mind that I don't love myself fully or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's not the word.
No,
Yeah, you don't even
it's
know
gonna
what you
come,
don't
it's
know.
gonna be more sneaky, and it's gonna be like in sentences that you're not gonna realize that it's actually connected to lack of self-love, or
Yes.
lack of connection or something. It's gonna come in different sentences, but that's kind of what it is. So um I'm interested in the spiritual bypassing because this may ruffle some feathers, because I live now in an area where spirituality is super, super popular. And I am under the impression that a lot of people are unconsciously spiritually bypassing here, because there is a culture of going from one event to another. And it's like event after event after event after event, which might be the reason why I haven't started doing in-person things just yet, because I don't want to be another event that people just come to spiritual bypass and then do nothing to integrate and embody, because that's not how
Yes.
my work looks like. I want you to embody, and that is along the journey. That is not a 1 hour event weekly, even if it's weekly. There needs to be a progression. There needs to be a thing. So when did you realize that you are spiritually bypassing, and how did it come into your consciousness that you're actually spiritually bypassing? Was it when you came to Poland as well, or did you have some sort of
Yeah.
um
I mean, I had an idea when I was in New York that I'm going after one course from one course to another, but I thought that it was not as spiritual bypassing. I'm now looking at it from a different perspective because I know more. At that time, it was my story of not being good enough.
yeah,
It was my story because my father wanted the best for me. He had a different vision, obviously, and I graduated from the top school in the UK, and I didn't go, I didn't follow his, path that he had for me.
mm,
And in my mind and in my heart, I always felt that I was not good enough for my father, and I was always seeking another certification, another program to prove uh, to myself, but also subconsciously to have him to see me. Like I
yeah.
wanted him to say to me, Paulina, I'm proud of you. I've never heard that. It was always like, oh, why only this? Oh, oh. And it was
Yeah,
like
well,
always
you
something.
picked spirituality, which is probably what your father was not following in any way. So, the rebellion, the rebel in
Yeah,
you.
rebel. Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, that's what I'm hearing, and this is beautiful. The contradiction, right? We kind of like, I want my dad to see me, but I'm gonna pick the one fucking thing that he's not gonna understand. So he's not gonna tell me. I'm sure he's not gonna tell me, but I'm gonna go there because, well, but it was you were following your calling. So it's, but we are full of contradictions. We are, and that's what I love that you mentioned this, because I think we often don't realize how contradicting we act. Like, even I'm
Mm.
sure in my journey now, I'm still doing contradicting things. I'm still saying one thing. Not that I'm um how to say it, like it's just patterns, right? So like
Yes,
there's no
yes.
bad or wrong. That doesn't mean you're worse than someone else, or that you're not meant for this job or whatever. It just means that there's certain patterns ingrained in you, and until you break them, they will be repeating. And often everything has another side, right? So things can be may not make sense. You want to go there, but you're still going to be
That's
doing
true.
that. And that's why awareness is really important. And then you can choose, oh, okay, so I've been doing this, so I'm assuming the just even realizing that, oh, I am doing this because I want to make my dad proud. And maybe I'm doing more and more and more because I also don't believe that I can now build this business, or I can be paid
Yes.
this amount of money, or I can be, and I think this cycle, everyone goes through it when they start
Yes.
anything. Like, this was the thing with my coaching, I now at the beginning I was like, well, until I have more this and that, then you need that, you crave that external validation
Yes.
to prove that you're worthy. But that mostly most of the time goes back to because you didn't get that validation when you were a kid. So really, you're still looking for
Yes.
that validation of because we never knew that love can be unconditional, or we forgotten because maybe we had some examples, but then they were taken
Yes.
away. And yeah, so uh,
This is big what you said. This is really big because thanks to being home and returning home and living with my parents, this is the final, finally I'm living by myself
yeah,
after almost 4 years.
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
I remember when
Better later than I.
it
So
happened.
it really shaped me in a way that I understood what was the root cause of my problems, and it came to me that I don't know what love is because my parents didn't show me. They were together, but they didn't. It was they just they accepted each other, or like they. I don't know how to explain this. It was
It wasn't the
tolerance.
love
Oh,
that
tolerance.
yeah, it wasn't the type of love that I feel like we have an understanding of love when we are kids, as or like we intrinsically we do, but then we see what we see, and then we're
Yes,
like, oh, okay, so maybe you don't know what you're comparing it to if you haven't seen it. So
that's
then you
correct.
think, that's why a lot of us women think that we cannot ask for more in relationships
Yes,
because we've never seen someone else being given what we here
yes,
know that this is what we deserve and this is what we want, but unless you saw it physically with your eyes in someone modeled it to you, then you don't know what that is, you don't know how it feels, so you're gonna then make a story that okay, well then I can't have it, or the society will tell you. In my case, everyone just told me a long time ago that whatever I want is doesn't exist, so then I just stopped telling them what I want. And then I stopped telling myself what I want because I can't have it. So, the more people tell you, the more you're going to believe them, unless you have a very strong conviction of what it is that you want.
but
Um,
it's not even like the conviction is one thing. I remember Marcus was telling me, and
mhm,
I understood this, but I didn't. Like in a
mhm,
way, I want to just go back a little bit to what you were talking about embodiment.
mhm.
I was on a coaching call last year, and the lady, she told me there are three types of coaches. The first one is informational coach. That's
Yeah,
plenty. Like ChatGPT is an
yeah,
informational
yeah,
coach, right?
yeah,
We have information. But
yeah.
information doesn't change your life. It
No,
makes your
yeah,
life maybe a little bit better because you know the information, right?
yeah,
Then
but
you
you
have a
gotta do something.
transformational coach,
Yeah,
right? The transformational coach is taking you on a journey that will help you to go through this transformation, like evolve, right? To change. And you have more. I mean, the big one is the first one, informational. You have the most, like the biggest
yeah,
percentage on
yeah.
the market. Then the
Mhm.
transformational, you have some. And the last one, which is very rare and it's very in demand right now, it's the embodiment. It's
Mm,
the coach that you are and I
mm.
am, in a way that you walk the talk and you talk the walk. And
Yeah,
that's very difficult. There are only few people who are very transparent, even in celebrities, those people who are very
yeah.
big in the world of coaching. Fucking bullshitters, and there's some aspects of them that they're fucking fake, and they're creating the illusion, and it's like they have that advantage because they have an audience and they can sell their little lies to them, and people will like swallow it. Not all of them, but it's
Well,
like
yeah,
I
there's
don't really
distortion
know.
in any industry, and spiritual community isn't exempt from
Yes,
people that say one thing, but yeah, people that don't walk the talk. They know the words, but they not
yes,
exactly live by those values.
yes,
But I think
and
embodiment coach can only happen through your own journey, like because
yes,
you gotta embody it yourself before you can truly understand how to. And it's not like we teach it because we can't teach embodiment. We can activate
hmm,
curiosity in another person and then guide them through their own journey by sharing what we've learned on others. This is how I see embodiment. Like I can show you, like even I do the body alchemy, but I'm not gonna tell you what moves to do. I see people teaching somatic dancing, and like I actually don't watch too many because I'm like that's the only thing I can do or I want to do is activate your curiosity about your own body and maybe give you some pointers as to how you can loosen up so that you can bring the emotion and then alchemize it. But the
that's
movements, they're irrelevant. they need to come from you. That's your body. Your body will tell you. I can't tell you move your hand here and your leg here and then stomp now and that's how it's gonna happen. Like that's bullshit. That's not. If that's how it's gonna happen to you, then maybe you can
Yeah.
copy me or I can show you in me, but then every like you're gonna see me differently. My sister gonna see me differently, someone else gonna, because you're gonna see me through your eyes of what you want to see, what blockages you have and what judgment you cast upon me when I move freely. So everyone's gonna see my movements differently and everyone's gonna take it away. So it's okay to show it how you do it, but to teach someone, like the
Yes,
formulas
yes.
and like
You
I'm
hold the
not.
space for them.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There's a difference between.
It's very interesting what you're saying because I went on Saturday. I went to my friend's yoga studio. I mean, it's not only yoga. They have different things there. It's called In Self, like
Hmm.
you're in Self studio. And I've done acro yoga, which was very challenging for me because I had to trust a stranger, especially a guy who I don't know, to lift me, which was like freaking very uncomfortable for me. So
Okay.
I had my, transformational moment there. And then the second class I took was intuitive dance. And I was watching my friend and who was leading it. I was like, wow, this is so amazing. She looked like a swan. And she was
Mm,
not really telling people what to do. She was guiding them, which was
good,
very beautiful.
good.
But at the same time, I was thinking to myself, like, oh my God, this is so boring. I didn't want to do this. And it's like, shut up, enjoy the experience.
Yeah. So what I would like to say to this, because the voice is like a resistance, right? So it
Yes.
can be judgment, but whatever you judge in others, and especially if it's emotionally charged, the way I see it, it's because you know it's gonna help you. You know it's that
True.
very thing that's gonna fucking break that pattern for you. So the voice here is gonna go super loud. Or like with the band. Oh, it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work. This is not for you, this is not for you. What is she doing? This is fucking bullshit. That's when the voice gets loud. When you know, well, I mean, your soul knows, you hear they don't know yet, but if you drop in, you're like, you're too scared to break that thing because it's so unknown, it's so uncomfortable. The judgment you cast upon me is the judgment you're gonna multiply on yourself. So you're actually judging yourself already moving. You can't even imagine how you're gonna move that because oh my God, what's people gonna say? So this is your own judgment. This is your own thing that you need to deal with, and the devs will actually help you with it. But it's good when that comes in. To me, it's always an indication that probably this is where you want to be going. Because if it's just not your vibe, you're not gonna have an emotional reaction like that. You're just gonna be like, oh, okay, well, I don't think that's for me. You're not gonna be like, oh, oh, like you won't be as worked up about it. You only worked up if it's the very thing.
You're right. You're right because this class, two of them, I
Yeah.
didn't want to do them. Like when I was at the beginning of the class, I was like, oh my gosh, I ate too much. I don't want to do this. I feel uncomfortable. Like, oh, and then, this was a very transformational class for me,
Yeah.
seriously, on both sides. The first one
Yeah.
with the acro yoga and trust,
Yeah, it
and the
does
second
like
one
it.
was like the intuition and like really like actually what I felt when I did this intuitive dance. It felt at the end, obviously, because I had resistance. At
Yeah.
the end, it felt like, wow, why people want to go to clubs, drink and do drugs if you can have those intuitive dance classes. They're so fucking amazing and they
You
charge you
can
so
just
much.
put
What
it
didn't 1 hour?
on and practice some moves in your living room, it's all available to you at any point, at any day. Because you don't even need a teacher, it's intuitive dance. All you need is to connect with the music and with your body. And that's literally what embodiment is. And that's, the rubber band takes you, anything that takes you from here to your body, whether it's your heart, but once in your body, you're also in your heart, then that is already a win. And then you want to make decisions. And then you want to plan for your future or whatever it is that you're working on, or even look from a distance at your situation, be the observer. We've been chatting before, and I took this card out, which
Yes.
was watch and wait, which basically reminded us how it's important to be the observer. And from what you're saying, I'm super happy to see because we haven't chatted in a while. So I know we both grew a lot
Yes.
since last time we
Yes.
spoke. And I can see how more empowered you are about your observations because that's what it
Mm.
is. The healing journey is all about recognizing your patterns, being aware of what it is, and then accepting, which is always what I always say. You can't forget the step of acceptance because everything's going to be way more hard if you don't accept that this is the reality that you're facing. Um, and then taking action or then making, oh, okay, well, maybe so that's what I'm going to do. So you're saying that, the guy at yoga was transformative because that's your trust issues, that's your or maybe some dynamic with the men, so like you bring it up but you're already being given a chance to alchemize it. That's alchemy. Like, I think alchemy also isn't properly explained because I mean it depends on the situation, but pretty much whatever you bring to the surface and then you don't run away but you actually stay with it and try to make something different out of it, that's alchemy. So you did alchemy on your trust issues. You came in, you didn't want to do it, but then you trusted. Maybe you were a little bit pushed, maybe you were a bit resistant, but it was a class. It was a
Yes.
semi, at least, safe space. You trusted. And then probably once it happened, something shifted here and here. And you're like, oh, maybe I can do this.
That's
Maybe
true.
it's not unsafe. So that's alchemy.
That's true. Thank you for describing this. This is actually very true because I remember I had a call with my friend who is a healer, and she said, "You know, it's life is simple. All you
Mm,
have to do, you just have to accept everything and
yes.
allow
I like
yourself to
friends.
go through everything without avoiding it."
Yes, yes. That those two are the key. Awareness and then acceptance. I used to think awareness is everything. Oh, I'm so aware of everything. It's not gonna fucking give you anything if what's the point of being aware if you're still gonna do the same thing?
Yes,
In my case, the majority of challenges I've been facing in my journey is because I could not, for the love of me, accept where I am. I could not. I was resisting where I am. I was beating myself up. I was angry. I was like, just could not accept. Why is it? And that what that is, if you don't accept, that's a victim mentality. Oh, it's happening to me. Ooh, why do I need to wait so long? And others have it easy. Victim, 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 victim. Martyr in my case as well, in the subconscious line. Um, so once I tapped into this awareness that, oh, okay, I need to accept. Let me try this. And it's, again, it's not like I still catch myself on this depending on the situation. This is an ever evolving journey. So, but it's so much faster now because I'm like, whenever I'm like off my thing, I'm like,
balance.
okay, what am I not accepting? What am I resisting? What am I fucking pissed off about again? And bring some humor into it because I like to heal with humor and dance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's your problem now, self-saboteur? Come on, let's talk. Let's talk because I ain't fucking having it.
Yes, and that's true. You're absolutely right. And once we accept that, I remember when I moved into the space,
Mm,
I was kind of like maybe reliving and healing my trauma from New York
yeah,
because, interesting enough, there was a poster here that like it
yeah.
was like three posters like in one picture, New York. And there was a saying, "It is what it is." And I was like, fucking kidding me? What are the fucking odds of having this in my new apartment in the fucking bathroom? And I was like, this is my healing journey because I
Um,
paid for the bathtub, and this was literally next to the bathtub in the corner. Three pictures
um,
of New York with one saying, "It is what it is." Voila.
this, ladies and gentlemen, is how universe communicates with you. It's not always in riddles. It's in fucking humor too, if you let it.
Yes,
Oh,
that
I
is
love
so
a
true.
good time. I love a good time. Well, that is so. Did you now accept your trauma
I
and
did.
there
Yes,
you go?
I did. I actually, it was a process because the
Yeah.
whole month of September when I was here, it was very interesting experience because I felt like I was living dualistic life. Some
Yes.
part of me was reliving New York and the
Oh,
good things and the bad things. And some part of me was reliving a new place here in Poland with new ideas, and like it was very intertwined. And I think September was a very interesting month because we had a lot of energies going on in the end of the numerological year.
Yeah.
And I really I felt like I was in a twilight zone in certain moments.
Mm.
Now in October I feel like I am born again, and I feel very light, like something like when you were talking about giving your burdens back to your ancestors or your shedding. That's how I felt. Like
Yeah.
I feel lighter. I feel I change. Even I changed my hair color, and
Mm.
like I feel much more, present with
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. And did you do something specifically, or did it just
Uh, yeah,
energetically?
I did a lot of things. I did a lot of things.
Yeah.
First of all, what?
Yeah, exactly. Let's shed some light on actual things that you've done because it never really just goes away. I don't want to give people impression that just what happens astrologically is influencing, like it influences us, but it's not
Yes,
gonna change anything if you're not gonna take action. So
that's
what
correct.
did you, how did you handle it?
So for me, I have a few things. First of all, I am working consistently with my healer. So I am having once a week sessions that are helping me to step into myself. But obviously, she's not a savior; she's a helper. So
Yes.
I have to do the work, and I also work with my teacher. She has online courses, and I've done this amazing course, Facing Your Shadow. So
Mm.
I've done a lot of shadow work. She was my guide. She had those recorded sessions, and I was going to the park because I have a forest here, like
Mhm.
that is interesting. It's next to an airport, and it's not a commercial airport. It's military. So
Ah, okay.
I'm very close to the not military. Yeah, it's kind of like a very interesting area here.
Okay.
And I was doing her sessions, her classes on my headphones, and I was literally, I have to tell you the story. This is fucking crazy. I hope it's gonna inspire someone
Okay.
because my teacher, she's Polish, but she lives in Germany, and she travels. She's an amazing soul, and I got this connection from my healer because she told me, "Hey, she's gonna be good for you." I was like, "Okay." So I signed up for her shadow course. That was a 5-day course, and I was on the headphones, and I went to my park. It's not a park; it's kind of like a forest, right? It's not,
Mhm.
like, to give people idea. It's not like 5 trees and that's it. It's
Yeah, yeah.
like a forest.
From forest. Okay.
Yeah, so I went there, and I was I had her on my headphones, and she was talking about releasing and clearing and cleansing. It was that time that we wanted to shed, our past, remove with the breath and the meditation. And I started getting into the meditation, walking through this forest. I
Mm.
started experiencing seriously like dualistic nature, like her voice and her
Very fun.
stuff. Seriously, like her stuff in my head was one thing, and then I saw a reality outside to that extent that I was walking through this park, and I was like, getting into that meditation, breathing and imagining. And she said, "Okay, so you are in the space, imagine this and that." And I started feeling like I'm going back in time into my grandfather. Like my grandfather died, and this is my mom's father. And I've been
Mhm.
doing a lot of ancestral work, and a lot of generation trauma and all that stuff, right?
As we do.
So I was walking in that forest, and I saw there was a, like, in the forest there was this kind of like a road, and I saw a guy on a, I don't know if you call it in English, tractor.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know. This thing that goes on the farms. People, we will find. I have no idea.
okay, so it was like a tractor, right? And
Farm car.
I my grandfather used to, oh my gosh, my
Right, right on
phone
the.
is like talking to me now. It's funny. So I was experiencing this moment when I was a child, and my grandfather used to drive that. I think it's called
I'm
tractor.
gonna.
I
I'm,
don't know.
I'm checking now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I was young, my grandfather used to drive this, and I was a passenger. I spent a lot of time with him on that tractor, whatever you call it. And I was looking at the guy who's driving it, And I
Yeah,
was
that's
like,
a contractor we see. Yeah. Right.
oh, see, interesting. So I was looking at this guy. I was like, oh my gosh, this takes me back into that childhood memory of being, with my grandfather. He died in 2018, right?
Okay.
And I saw there was a different guy driving it, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then behind, there was a guy on, I mean, guy, he was like a grandfather on the bicycle. And I think this guy was like 70 something. And I was looking at him, and our eyes met. Our eyes met, and I saw in his eyes my grandfather.
Mm.
And I was like looking at him. I smiled, he smiled, and I saw this type of connection
Aw.
in like with my grandfather in this guy's face. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
And I had got chills and I started sobbing. I was like, oh my God. I started like sobbing. I don't even know why. It was like nothing happened technically. I
Mm.
started
Well,
sobbing and in
I
my
know it's
head,
at that level.
and in my head, I heard this voice that my grandfather said to me, thank you for healing generational trauma. And I was like, fuck. And I'm sobbing like crazy,
Oh,
feeling like this whole, like full body chills. And then
that's
I'm still
so.
listening to this meditation, walking. And my teacher said, okay, now I want you to pause and imagine there is the sun lighting your face. I open my eyes and I see sun in my face. It's like, oh my God, this is crazy. Okay, I closed my eyes because I was trying to build the trust, and I started walking in this meditation, listening to her voice, and then she said, okay, now you're on a crossroads. I'm walking, opening my eyes. I'm in a crossroads. It's like, fuck, this is surreal.
Real, yeah.
Pick the lane. So I picked the side to the left. I'm walking. Obviously, I had my eyes open because I thought this is crazy. I'm not
Yeah.
going, the right direction or whatever. So I opened my eyes and I saw there was like this little forest, like with new fresh trees, and then the old forest on the side. And then she said, okay, so imagine that your awareness is expanding. Next thing you know, I see a fucking dragonfly around me, like swirling. It's like, what the fuck? It's just so crazy. Like out of nowhere, this dragonfly is, around me. And then she's still talking about this meditation. She's like, okay, so this is a home stretch. We are finally releasing and clearing and cleansing the old, the past, the everything.
Mm.
And I'm walking and I'm thinking, this cannot be real. And I'm walking closer and approaching this thing that I'm seeing, right?
Hmm.
It was a porcelain toilet in the
Oh,
middle of fucking forest. Someone dropped it. There was a lane. There was like like when people driving cars, right? Whatever. There was a lane. There was a path, but there was an old forest and the new one. And in between, on that lane, there was a porcelain toilet with the sink. And
no.
I'm thinking, fuck, it cannot get real like this. Like the final home stretch, cleaning and cleansing with the toilet and the sink.
In case you need it, there you go.
And I was like, this is getting really weird, right? So, uh, just to finish the story, I was really like, going into that experience, and the final home stretch, which was really big for me. I didn't know where I was going. I was scared, but I was pushing myself. And the reason why I'm saying this story, it's to trust yourself that you're on the right path. Even though I was fucking scared. This was the
Yeah.
first time I was in that forest. I didn't know where I was going. I was listening to my teacher. I was trusting the process. I was seeing the signs. And the final sign I saw was when I was going through the woods, I went to a place where I saw a cross and a white dove. Like
Mm.
few steps up. It was like a kind of like I don't know how you call it, like a tribune, whatever.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I don't know the
Yeah.
word. Yeah. Like
So like few steps.
like yeah. I think I
when
know.
you have when you have maybe some kind of like speech or something,
Yeah.
it was, yeah. So I was looking at this like, why there is a cross or there is a white dove. So I didn't really connect the dots, and eventually I finished my journey. I went back to Main Street and I went home and I told the story to my friends, and my sister said to me, this was the place where John Paul
Mm.
had his speech
Ah,
in
okay.
82, I believe,
Yeah. Oh,
or
that.
80, some many moons ago, many years ago. And I was thinking, what a miracle experience I experienced. Like it,
Yeah.
the reason why I'm sharing is this story is to tell you that healing is not linear.
Yeah.
It has so many layers, and I had so many different things that happened to me in September. I've done a lot of baths, Epsom salt, right? I was also exercising. I was doing a lot of walks, like walking in the park, breathing, obviously, because I'm a breathwork facilitator. I was breathing. I had a lot of sessions with my clients and with myself. So it was a
Yeah, it's
combination
never
of
just
different
one
things.
thing. Yeah, it's also never just one thing, right? But whatever else you've been doing has then helped you have this experience and actually see this experience for what it was and how powerful it was. Because I think even coming back to the band thing, had you not opened yourself to accept where you are and understand and already gathered all the knowledge along the way, you may have missed the signs, or you may have, not understand, or you would resist that, oh, it was, because the mind will try to trick us, especially if it's something that we're not sure about, or we think people will think it's crazy. 100 thousands of times I thought I'm crazy on this journey for the last 4.5 years. Before that time, I never thought I'm crazy. In the last 4.5 years, many times I thought I'm crazy. Okay, so I know what you talk about, but I also know exactly what you mean when you met your grandfather's eyes. And it's just a beautiful connection. I think we don't need to go into how, because everyone's going to understand it differently. And I even feel like it's not about explaining what it was, it's just trusting that feeling. That if
Mm,
something tells you that this is, I just fucking healed something on a deeper level,
mm,
not just for me, then just trust that.
mm.
Because you wouldn't just, especially if we're all traumatized, we wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, no, I just healed generational trauma. It's not exactly a thought that's going to come to your mind unless you
Yes.
actually did do something. So trust it, feel it, embrace it, thank yourself, thank the ancestors, be grateful for the experience, because I think we're doing really, like, so many of us are doing deep work.
Mm,
Um, and so many of us are not sharing exactly what we're doing, for many reasons, because it's not about
mm,
us, it's not like, oh,
mm,
look at me, I'm doing this, but it's very powerful. It's beautiful. Like, I am absolutely amazed in the things that I've been experiencing, in the things that I've
mhm.
been seeing, the power of the healing, the different modalities. And if I have any message here, it's just go, like, be curious and go
Yes.
after what is calling you. There's no one modality that is better than the other. It's more about the facilitators, as long as they're embodied and true,
Yes.
and transparent, and you feel connected with them, or you feel drawn to them, then go and choose those people, right? Like, there's no such thing as, this, because he has 100 thousands of followers, so he's going to be better than someone with 1,000 followers. That's actually not true, because I know a lot of people with very small following on social media that are beautiful facilitators,
Yes.
but they just don't do social media. They have word of mouth. So I would
Yes.
trust the feeling more and open yourself to different experiences, because there's so many things, so many different things that can help you heal, or can, whether it's just for your healing, or something that you can then use as your new skill and facilitate
Mm,
yourself. Because I'm assuming, like, I found embodiment through my own embodiment. You found
yes.
breathwork through your own breathwork. Like, I did breathwork as well, but I didn't feel called to teach it. And that's
Yes.
nothing. There's nothing that doesn't mean I don't believe in the power of breathwork. I've done many powerful breathwork sessions that have completely, shook me. But I just trust where I'm being led, because we all
Yes.
have different things that we were meant to be doing. So this I think this is beautiful. Thank you for sharing this story. I love, there was so many things, so many,
Yeah.
like, weird, crazy things that you, I mean, we just have to believe you, because, like, you wouldn't just make this
I
up.
know it's
So
like
many.
it's like I'm telling the story, and every time I'm saying this, I find another part to that story, and it's just so amazing because what came to me when I was sharing this, it was not what I saw and how I experienced this meditation all in my head and outside. It was really a trust issue because I had to trust myself. But I would probably never experience this if it weren't for my teacher on the phone, like on the headsets, because I would probably experience this to different, like different level. But she made it deeper because we went into meditation.
Mm.
So it was subconscious and
Yeah.
it was very profound. And I think that was the layer that made me experience that, in a different way. And that, first of all, I trusted her. And that was the thing because I didn't trust myself that I'm not going to lose myself in this forest. And I had a trauma because I had a bad experience. I lost myself and I was freaking out for 1 hour. I didn't know where I was. So it was a very terrible experience. So
Mm.
this time I was in the middle of forest, not knowing where
Yeah.
I'm going, trusting only this woman on the headphone.
Mm. I think that just speaks also to your own embodiment and your, the how much you deepened your healing and how much you've overcome already, because then we constantly rebuild the trust with ourselves. I would say it's rebuilding the trust because we trust ourselves when we were born. There's no trust issues when we kids. They come as a result of the things that
Yes.
happened around us or to us. um so it's constantly rebuilding and deepening, and I think that's one of the reasons why people should be excited about healing journey, because then you do things that you never thought possible, let alone all the magical things. I didn't see magic in the world before. I was completely disconnected from. I was just like, it's just me and me. It's nothing. Nothing will help me. It fucking left me long time ago. This fucking shit. I'm just gonna power through every obstacle and that's it. That was me pretty much since like 14 or whatnot. So just to like be open to those things and feel, even that there's days obviously that I don't feel supported, that I feel like I'm alone, but I can, I know that I'm not. On a deeper level now, I know that I'm not. And again, not to say what it is that I believe, because everyone perceives it differently. It's a feeling, it's just so beautiful. I think that's probably my favorite part of the healing, is how I can trust myself, how I trust my body, how I trust that, do you know what, it's going to be fine, and how I'm also open to ask for help, not try to fucking do everything by myself anymore, because you know that we are meant to be. Well, like, I'm here to serve others, so why would I not let someone help me? Like, it's a two-way street. We all have gifts in service of others. So, I'll come to you, you come to me. Someone, like, you never know. You're probably helping already so many people without even realizing that something you
That's true.
said may have shifted something in them. Or someone tells you something when you're doing groceries and you're like, oh my God, I needed to hear this. Like, sometimes it's
Yes.
super tiny, but that's already you letting someone assist you, not carrying all those burdens and whatnot in your by yourself. I think that's I don't know, I guess I have lessons now. While we're wrapping up now, I have lessons for the audience. Take
That
your
was
notebooks.
beautiful.
My teacher is coming out. Take your notebooks, ladies and gentlemen, and note few things down before we wrap.
But that was so profound what you said because I was actually saying this to my client yesterday that I'm recording videos or I'm teaching, and
Mm,
sometimes people come to me after a few months saying, "Hey, do you remember when you said this and
mm.
this 5 months ago? You changed my life." It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, but it's true,
Right.
and like you realize what 3 years it took you for the rubber band, or like, I'm sure we all have experiences where we're like, oh my God, now I remember, or this guy or that person in the past, what they were trying to tell me. Like, the more you tap into your awareness and the higher your frequency, your consciousness, the more you're like, oh, you see those earth angels, we can call them, or those mentors or people that were
Yes.
put on your path to activate something in you. And that's why I think our job as coaches or healers, it's really just to activate, show you so you can remember, because I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm here to get you
Remind you what you
excited about
forgot.
it and remind you of your power. You're gonna have to do all this fucking internal
Yes.
work, you know. I can just be here and guide you and have fun with you and you know tell you that it doesn't need to be all gloomy and
Yes.
depressing, but you gotta do the work. No one can do the work for you, which is probably not exactly
What a lot of people want to
what the
hear.
internet says. Yeah, come here and I'll fix ya.
Yeah. That's true. And this is a beautiful wrap up because at the end of the day, holding space is very, very beautiful. And when you are a true healer, you don't need to do anything. All
Yeah.
you do is you just being you and you just hold the space.
Yeah, because we're mirrors, right? So I see you. I see you. See
Oh,
you
thank you,
and all
Maggie. This was so
things.
amazing. Oh my goodness. You activated just childlike energy. I want to go to my forest now.
Go for another hypno and tell me the story, whatever comes through.
Yes.
But before we wrap up, I always want to ask my guests if there's anything they're promoting currently. So if there's any program or something that you'd like to invite the viewers to join, now's the time to share this with us.
Oh, thank you. I actually want to share something very, very close to my heart. It's my 6 week program, Healing the Father Wound. But I don't want to call it father wound because we don't want to come from this mentality of being a victim.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to fight. It's more about embracing your father within you and healing that masculine part of the lineage
Mm-hmm.
and feeling that you are finally enough and you deserve the best and you are full and complete. It took me many years to create that because I was in the healing process myself, and I've been doing this in Polish. I have another round starting in November, and I'm opening now to English speaking community.
You'll just send me the links and I'll put the links in the description of the episode on my YouTube channel. So if anyone is interested, they can check more info or
Okay.
contact you. How can people best contact you? Facebook, Instagram, I believe
Yeah,
those.
I have this resistance to blasting emails. I don't know. This is like I've been fighting with this for 15 years now. I'm a very personal person in terms of touch. I know this is not probably the safest option, but I like to do Facebook and Instagram, the chats, and I want to talk to people and see who they are
Mm-hmm.
and look at the profile, like engage if we are going to be a good fit. I don't work with everyone.
Yeah, same.
So that's why I like to do the social media as a social proof because I used to get sometimes emails and who knows who wrote those.
Yeah. Trust issues.
That's correct. That's correct.
So we just gotta
See?
do our stalking before you can be our customers, but by all means, come and check us out.
Yes.
I think that's a great way to advertise our services. So, thank you so much, Paulina. This was a very fun convo.
Oh. You
Um,
activated that
yeah,
start the joy and like this fun energy that
awesome. Well,
is
it's full moon as we are recording. I'm not
yes.
gonna publish it until next week, but today, as the day of the recording, is a full moon. So I actually might go to the beach and speak to.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
think,
and we have a super full moon, and it's in sign of Aries, which is really, really potent energy. So working with water for emotions and fire for the Aries,
yeah.
this is good. This
So
is
I might do a little walk of celebration and see what comes
yes,
while I'm speaking to the moon. Okay, well, thank you so much. I will link everything and maybe we'll do it one more time in Polish at some point. So we'll talk about
yes,
that. All right, thanks,
yes.
Paulina, and thanks
Thank you.
everyone for joining in and tuning in. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.